I am no fighter. I am no soldier, nor man who would withstand 10 seconds in the arena of combat. I've not handled a firearm in any extreme depth, nor can I say with any confidence that I can indeed kill a man with my bare hands, but damn it, I've been to war. I've taken lives of living, breathing creatures and its brethren, and defended my homeland, my secure sanctuary in which I live, breathe, eat, and poop, against a belligerent invader that has sought to take over my most sacred of spaces, and how I rallied back against an enemy many thousands strong with just my wit and determination. Today's reading is a personal story. An account of my days fighting an onslaught from a cadre of relentless home invaders whom, even as I say this, may still threaten my safety. It is a story of hardship, a story of courage, a story of casualty, and a story of victory. Today, I bring you the story of the Ant Jihad.
March 13th, 2018.
I live in the lowest level of my dorm hall, at the very end. Outside my window, there has been ongoing construction since I moved here from my cushy apartment-style residence into the classic suite-style dorm room. I assume it is this construction that has disturbed the otherwise peaceful colony of ants outside that caused them to seek refuge in the building in the first place. Due to my room's location, I was unwillingly placed as the vanguard against the insectoid menace that hungered for sugar and control. I was sitting at my laptop working on a project for one of my many processing classes, blissfully unaware that my defenses had been breached by a tide of ravenous interlopers. I'll admit, I do not live in the tidiest of rooms, but those of you who are in college know how hard it is to keep a clean room this late into the semester. It was here, on this day, where I noticed the first ant, a scout, as it crawled its way across my desk. A curiosity it was that I had found such a small creature within my domain. I thought it may have tracked in on one of my shoes, or that it had latched onto the underside of my trusty skateboard, but regardless of its ingress, it was just an outlier. I provided it mercy, and made its death by squishing quick and painless. For the next 3 days, this would continue, and I would notice an increased frequency in the ants I had to crush. Some on my laptop screen, others on my desk, some on the floor around my chair, but as the days wore on, it reached a point where I would not be able to take this aggression passively anymore. This was a challenge. I was being taunted by the six-legged black beams of malice and anger. They were encroaching more and more into my space, and even worse, they had sent out squads of 4 or 5 to try and torment me more. And it was getting on my nerves.
March 16th, 2018. The Battle of Audie's Dorm Room.
I had woken up that morning to discover a small detachment of 7 ants surrounding some Cheez-Its crumbs on my desk, presumably as a spoil of their war against me to bring back to their putrid queen. This number was far too great now for this to be some kind of outlier force. This was their army, invading my sanctuary. I wanted to end this peacefully at first, and just set up some natural repellent for which the ants would receive a message as to not come this way, and those already within the walls of my dorm room, unfortunately, no longer had the option to retreat. I consulted my intelligence officers about the best way to kill and repel the opposition force that had started to cross my borders. Staff Sergeant Google had provided me with a possible solution. It turns out ants hate vinegar. Ants have a very strong sense of smell, and powerful odors such as mint, garlic, and the aforementioned forbidden lover of baking soda make an ant reel in disgust. It does not, however, kill ants, but putting it in a spray bottle and blasting the fuckers with it can drown them, which is good enough for me. With that, I planned the first phase of my assault against the Op-4, Operation Rainstorm. The plan was simple. Go to Kroger, purchase a spray bottle and some white vinegar, mix it with 50% tap water, and spray the shit out of the offending ant horde. I returned with my weapons of war, ready to begin my assault. I cleared my desk of all things electronic, my 2 laptops, my audio interface, and my keyboard, and began blasting all of the ants I could find, descending upon them with the same tenacity and ferocity that could only be matched by that on McCrag when fending off their own brand of bug infestation. The battle was going well. Operation Rainstorm was proceeding as planned as I fended off wave after wave of the antagonistic little pests, asphyxiating them in a torrent from my spray bottle and offending their friends away with the torrid odor of Heinz white vinegar. As I cleared my desk and moved onto the small dresser next to it, I would soon learn my stinky spray would not be enough to fight them off. I made the mistake of shifting my Keurig to the side to check to see if there were any stragglers hiding underneath my favorite coffee foundry. And the horror unfolded before me. Sure, there were ants under the thing, but they were also in the drip tray, and in the water tank, and in the water line, and inside the housing of the unit. My Keurig had been taken by the enemy as the first casualty of war, a bastion of caffeinated glory, the lifeblood of any and every college student had been overrun and sacked by ants. Crawling with those bastards, a sub-colony had made its home in the most wonderful of appliances. It was a birthday gift from my dad. It was now overrun with those bastards. Something in me died in that moment. The mercy I tried to have for these creatures was gone. I had tried to be humane, tried to scare them off to no avail. This war would not end until one of us lay dead. With the fires of bloodlust now raging within my heart, I took the water tank from my Keurig and poured the entire bottle of vinegar into it, killing all of those fucking ants that hid inside. I emptied the tank into the drip tray in a biblical flood of foul-smelling rage and ran the line of hot water, scalding any internal offenders to death. But there were still ants inside the housing, the black facade that encased the inner machinations of my coffee forge, and I couldn't clean them out without taking apart my Keurig, and I didn't want to put my good friend at any more risk. I consulted my intelligence officers once again and pored over document after document to find the best way to eradicate these virulent pests from my home and avenge my coffee machine. It was here that I found an ally and a bastion of handy manliness, a place my father had taught me to revere as if it were a temple to God himself, a monolith of testosterone and bringer of many fond memories of my home life. The Home Depot. Within this trove of hardware and lawn care products, I found the solution to my woes. Guaranteed to kill ants in 3 days or less, I purchased 2 boxes of Taro brand indoor ant bait. It works as such. The ant bait is filled with a sweet, syrupy type substance that tastes delicious to ants, but is laced with a chemical substance that will disrupt the ants' digestive system and slowly starve them to death. The ants will take this substance, eat it, and bring it back to their queen and larvae to feed upon, and the whole colony will die slowly and painfully. My plan was as such. I would strategically place the ant bait in places where I had seen the ants, the nearest windowsill, the dresser across from my desk, and all around my Keurig, so no ant would resist the clarion call of my delicious and deadly treats. When I got home, I laid my trap, changed into my clothes for work, and left for a few hours. When I had returned, I found the wonderful sights of an ant trail leading from my bait back to my Keurig and even further back to the main colony. My victory was ensured. Those insectoid fools were none the wiser. They were already dead. I sat there, keeping an eye on my enemy's activity for a week after the event, and to this day, I am happy to report that all ant activity has come to a halt. My coffee has never tasted so good. For real though, I will sing the praises of Taro products until the cows freeze over. They just fucking work. I'm not endorsed by Taro in any way, but hey, if they want to give me that sweet ant blood money, I will gladly take it. They kill themselves a good ant, I'm just saying. Just be careful and don't spill it. That shit is sticky as fuck, boy. So that will be the end of today's video, and I hope you all enjoyed this retelling of my most harrowing trial to date. I'm sorry for any of you ant lovers out there who found this story disturbing, but you don't fuck with a man's coffee, ever. Now, I wish you a good night, and enjoy the rest of your day, as I enjoy the rest of this cup of tea brewed by my trusty Keurig. Toodles!